Hey guys, it's your boy Ballface8020 back again with another commentary. First I want to wish you guys all a belated happy Thanksgiving. I should have done that in the last video. For this video, what I wanted to talk about is more Blackpill stuff. I feel like I didn't touch all the stuff I wanted to in the last video, so hopefully this won't be too long. Hopefully I'll get to all the points that I wanted to address. In particular, I feel like what I didn't really get to talk much about in the last video was I said how the black pill was a good antidote to the red pill, but I wasn't, I don't think I was specific. I don't think it was detailed enough, and I didn't talk about how it's also a good antidote even to the blue pill. So for the first thing, um, what I'd like to start out with is talk about just some good things about the blue pill and the red pill, and then I can talk about the big flaw with both of them, and how the black pill is a good antidote to those flaws. So we'll start with the blue pill first. As I mentioned in the last video, the blue pill, this idea that just be a good person, and you'll find the right woman or girl or whatever. That is really more of a caricature. That I don't like. I really don't think there's anybody. I mean, again, maybe some spurgy guy who's like listened to what his mother told him, but I think most people understand that you to attract women, there's a lot more to it than just being a good person. And but So that's more of a caricature. But even within the caricature, there's still some good points about the blue pill, and it has so and I think especially the good points I would say about the blue pill is, first of all, of all the pill philosophies, the blue pill is the healthiest, like emotionally, and it's the best for society, people, because the blue pill is the only one that really encourages you to live in a moral way. And the blue pill also, in terms of where it's, I think, really accurate actually, is what makes a healthy long-term relationship. And for like the long term, if you look at the couples that stay together, that are together, when they're 90s and still happy together, you know, what makes that work is, it's a variety of things, but a key part of what makes it work is equality. That these relationships, these successful relationships, are a true partnership. So I'm not saying that all of these long-term relationships, that either the man or the woman are necessarily hardcore feminists. I don't think that's true at all. But they do, within the confines of their relationship, at least, they're a team. They're like the Bible says, one flesh. And the blue pill really promotes that as a relationship, that you should exceed for like an equal relationship, a partnership, and that the connection ultimately has to be a spiritual or at least a mental thing, as opposed to being based on physical attraction or something like that. So that's a good thing about the blue pill. And the good thing about the red pill is well, there's fewer good things there, but I would say the red pill does have, like, if you're, if usually if you're a younger guy, or even if you're not, and you're, inexperienced with women, or you want to go out and successfully womanize, one thing that the red pill teaches you that is totally correct is not to simp. Women don't want you to simp, and it's not an attractive trait, and it's just, if you're pissing away your dignity for nothing. It's because it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. And the so the red pill's definitely right about that. If and like if there's some girl you like, and you say something that you realize has offended her or something, don't try to like apologize and grovel, unless you really were in the wrong. But even then, try to like apologize like a man. Don't be pathetic about it. If she's just crazy and just being a crazy bitch, then you just kind of got to be like, oh well. I mean, and then hopefully that doesn't kill your chances, but putting, like, catering to her crazy bitchiness, that's not an attractive trait. That's not what she wants, and it's not going to get you anywhere. And even if it would, I mean, don't you have any self-respect? So, another thing that's, I don't even want to say this is good about the red pill, but accurate about the red pill is, remember in the last video how I was talking about how this red pill philosophy, even though I don't think they came up with the actual name red pill, the philosophy behind the whole game thing came from Roosh and Roisey. Well, those are both guys who, you know, you could understand why guys like that would think, like, that, you know, looks don't matter and being a good person doesn't matter, because they both had experience. Like, if both of them are on the taller side, I'm not sure what Roisey looks like or looked like in his prime, but Roosh in his prime wasn't like a pinup or anything, but he's, you know, a handsome guy if you can get past, you know, the, you know, pounds of body hair. But he had, like, no success with women in college. He was being constant. He was simping. He was being friend zoned. So despite being tall, being okay, being, you know, decent looking and in good shape, he could get nowhere with women. You know, despite being this good guy. And then when he started to have a lot of success with women was by embracing his inner psychopath. You know, being very aggressive, being very manipulative, in some cases being an outright rapist based on his books. And so, again, this isn't a good thing. I'm not encouraging you to follow their example, but you could understand how somebody like people like Roisey and Roosh would think, like, oh, this is the ticket. You know, like, I wasn't successful, you know, as a nice, more passive guy, but as a more aggressive jerk, all of a sudden I am getting to be able to sleep with a lot of women that I'm attracted to. And so again, it's not that it's good or that you should follow their philosophy. You shouldn't follow their philosophy. They're both of them are, you know, very, I don't want to, you know, immoral. I was about to say I don't want to call them bad, but, and I don't necessarily think of them as bad, but considering that, you know, Roosh, I mean, essentially admitted to a rape in his book, that I don't know, I mean, it's hard for me not to say he's bad. So this, so don't be like them, but it can be effective even in a non-rapey context. But like I was saying, these guys were both tall and good looking and pretty smart, and or at least okay looking and pretty smart. So of course those guys are going to say, oh, well, this was the difference. This being more aggressive, being more alpha, being more psychologically manipulative. Well, guess what? That shit wouldn't have worked if they weren't tall, if they weren't decent looking, if they weren't, you know, still on the kind of youngish side, and if they weren't smart enough to know how to apply these things. I mean, you know, like somebody like Roosh, I mean, his IQ must be at least 135, and Roisey, based on his writing, I would say it's probably close to, you know, well, at least 125. And so, still struggling with the camera centering. So, yeah, so I mean, they got stuff right, though. I mean, or that stuff that they had stuff that worked, but they weren't seeing the whole picture. But I'm kind of getting away from what I wanted to talk about here, which is that, although that what I just said kind of leads in a little bit, both of these blue pill and red pill, what I think the fatal flaw in them, and I don't mean from a moral perspective, because there's obviously a whole host of moral issues with the red pill. The fatal flaw with them from an explanatory perspective or an advice perspective is both pills are putting the blame. If you're not successful with women, it's your fault because of these reasons. You know, the blue pillars go to like incel tears, the incel tears board, and the blue pill advice will be like, oh, work on yourself, develop a good personality, get like a nice haircut, be stylish, you know, hit the gym, and you do those things. Oh, and by the way, if any woman rejects you after all those things, well, that doesn't mean anything because she's just shallow anyway, and you're better off without her. So, and the red pill would say, like, some of those same things, but with more emphasis on, oh, you're being too much of a simp, you need to, you know, like, you need to be more aggressive with women and not take shit, and show that like you're this dominant guy, and run like, and if a woman doesn't like you, it's not that she really doesn't like you, it's just a shit test, and you just need to start passing those shit tests, and stuff like that. So you see with both of them, and I mean, not only is it mostly bullshit, but it's saying that the problem is you, for not, like, you are not making yourself into the kind of man that women want, and you have the ability to do that. Okay, and that's where the black pill comes in as a real harsh but ultimately liberating truth. And it's and what the black pill says is you can't make yourself into that kind of man, and it's absolutely true. The Yeah, I mean, yes, Royce and Roosh were able to become successful womanizers, but again, like I said earlier, they were able to do that because they were tall. They were tall. They were good, somewhat good looking. They were smart, and so that was, they were able, and they were still young for they were still young when they were doing it. So of course yes, they were able to, like, by making some changes for them, it'll work. But those don't apply to most guys. If you're not, if I mean, if you're short, if you have a shitty frame, smaller skull, you're not very good looking, you're not very smart, um, you know, uh, and you don't have much charisma, because charisma, personality, sense of humor, that's about as genetic as bone structure. Okay, if you're just not an interesting person and not a charismatic person, doesn't mean that you're worthless or that your life doesn't have meaning. But you're not going to be funny. You're never going to be funny. You're never going to be charismatic. You're never going to be interesting. Okay, some people just aren't very interesting. I've met many of them, and some people just don't have any charisma, and some people aren't very smart. Okay, so so a lot of people don't even have the mental capacity to make these changes, and let alone the physical stuff. Like I said, Rosie and Roosh are tall and decent looking guys. Well, where does that leave you if you're not tall or you're not good looking? And especially, what if you're actually really short or really ugly? Okay, then so basically, both of these they're all saying, you just have to fix yourself, work on yourself, and it really all builds into this sort of cult of self-improvement, which has always been, or it's been at least big in the West since the end of World War II. And so, both the blue pill and red pill fit into this. And even Roosh has kind of gotten away from this, seeing that this self-improvement thing is a dead end. It's kind of like a I don't know, like you're kind of like on a treadmill to nowhere. There is no real self-improvement. Okay, I mean, you're basically a product of your genetics and your upbringing, and kind of what you see is what you get. Now, I'm not trying to be nihilistic here, okay? And there are some forms of self-improvement that, I still believe in. But what I don't believe in is any type of self-improvement to make you really more attractive to women. Now, again, even then, there's a difference. Like, I mean, absolutely go out and, try to, be in shape or whatever, take care of yourself. Certainly don't let yourself smell bad. And, and dress nice if that's what you like, lift weights if that's what you like. But you also have to be realistic when you're doing these things, okay? That, what attracts women, and the black pill is, very right about this, okay? What women want is your genes, okay, your genetics. So you go and you lose a lot of weight and you build up some muscle and you style your hair really nice and you dress nice. Guess what? Women can sense this stuff way better than us. They see you and they don't even realize they're doing it. They're thinking, like, they're evaluating, like, this guy's genetics, are they good enough for me to invest 9 months in carrying his kid? All right. And by the way, I'm only talking about, like, in a biological attraction. I mean, women are not looking for the best genes possible in a lifetime partner. Okay. I'm not saying that. But in terms of what actually creates that initial physical attraction, you better believe that's what they're looking at. And especially if you're looking to womanize young women who are just trying to have fun, that's what they're looking for, whether they realize it or not. And the So, you know, you can get in as all the shape you want, and, you know, style yourself as all the shape you want, but there, if the the bone structure isn't there, the genes aren't there, the frame isn't there, the height isn't there, um, you're not going to be that much more attractive to women, you know, for better or worse. So if you're not attractive to women, it's not it's not your fault. Okay, it's not an issue of you need to make yourself worthy of women's attraction, and that's I would say pretty much the only good thing about the black pill. I mean, obviously you can see that go to some black pill sites where there is black pill philosophy, like incel boards, and you'll see that it's a really unhealthy, hateful, nihilistic movement overall. But there's core truths with the red pill and blue pill too. But there is a core truth with the black pill that that can be liberating and can help people understand stuff. You know, the thing is, look, some people are ugly, some people are short, some people are stupid, and it's not it's not their fault. Okay, and so we can get, like, you know, the red pill thing might be to say to try to overcome that, or it doesn't matter. And the really blue pill pervert would be like some Alicia Carey, like, you're beautiful just the way you are. Nah, I mean, no, you're probably not beautiful just the way you are. I mean, you might be, but there's a good chance you're not. And there's nothing, there's nothing you can do about it. But at the same time, you don't have to. There's nothing wrong, just like there's nothing wrong with being ugly or being short or being stupid, there's nothing wrong with being upset about being those things. You know, if you're ugly and that bothers you, that's fine. It doesn't have to not bother you. There's nothing wrong about wanting to look better or stuff like that, or wanting to look better or wanting to be more attractive, stuff like that. That's totally fine. It's totally understandable. The Now, when you start acting like people on the incel boards do, that becomes a problem. Even if we can understand their frustration and understand, why they're hurting as bad as they are. So yeah. I guess just in conclusion, wrap it up. Like I've said, there is that one good thing about the black pill, even if it's an overall unhealthy philosophy. I think it kind of comes down to ultimately, like, how you see life, how you see, like, is life just this kind of random thing, like, is this just like random materialistic processes, or is there, whether you want to call it God or some type of fate, sort of, that are making things happen the way they are for a reason. And I think that based on what I've seen, most black pillars just see it as kind of random. It's like, oh, the reason that I'm short or ugly or autistic or whatever is bad luck, bad roll of the dice, and that's as far as it goes. Whereas if you believe in a higher power or something like that, you might think that, well, like, as much as it sucks, it's not just random. It's an opportunity. What Even the bad things are an opportunity to learn and learn from and deal with in the most productive way that I can. Now, based on my experience, you're not going to get very far trying to convince black pillars of the second option. But depending on how you view things, it really depends on how you react to the whole black pill, the truths of the black pill. So, yeah, and that's all, and I'll see you guys in the next.